Okay guys, so we're going to do something slightly different for our 5-minute videos in the next series of them, or this series of them if you like, if you've been following along. So we're going to do a checklist because I've been giving you some of the in-depth stuff that we do in Profit Ladder for members, but as 5-minute videos rather than as they receive them, which is full-length videos and of course group support, etc. So what I thought I'd do this time is they will have received these videos. I think they receive it in a series of 3 with more detail than I'm going to go through with you guys. But, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to use this checklist sort of system. So assuming you've been following along and you're getting a lot of the good information that we're putting out there for free, we're just going to run through the best practice, if you like, for your content. But first of all, let's establish what content actually is. Because a lot of us, even myself, when I think of content, I tend to think of blogs and I tend to think of long blogs and stuff that goes on Huffington Post and places like that. Whereas actually content is anything you're producing as a business that helps raise awareness of you and brings in that know, like and trust. So it can be emails, and obviously in Profit Ladder we have very detailed stuff on emails and copy, lots and lots of stuff on emails and copy. Landing pages, how you're wording and what you're putting out there as landing pages, your ebooks, all of this is content. Obviously blogs, we've just mentioned it, even your blogettes, as I like to call them, your mini blogs, and I will talk later about where those should go and why you're being very irritating with where you're putting your blogettes and how you're about to get banned off Facebook for life, and that will probably cripple your business. Updates, tweets, photos, competitions, all of this is content. All of it needs to be to your avatar. It needs to be planned. It needs to have a reason of being behind it, if you like, that is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's seamless. It gives out the brand values, everything that you do, no matter what the variety is. Brochures, newsletters, leaflets. I mean, all of this is just examples of what is covered by the word content. Now, in these short videos, we will actually be talking a lot about blogs, because blogs are a big portion of content nowadays. But we will cover some other stuff as well, but in brief, because like I say, things like newsletters, we've got a video series on newsletters, 2 or 3 videos on depth in about newsletters. So, we're not going to go through everything. So the number one to get going, if you like, the number one top tip to do with maximizing your content is to actually have it smart. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timed. So in other words, create an action plan for your content. You know about content tools like Buffer, which can help you, if you gather all your content together on one day, can help you spread that throughout the week on different social media. But it has to be, whenever you write yourself a content plan, you have to be very specific about what you're doing and whether you can actually do it within the time frame you're allowing yourself. Now, if you've been through our planning videos, you'll understand about your marketing blocks and your big block and your get stuff done block and how you should be blocking your days out properly anyway in advance. But also when we look at SMART goals, we're not just looking at what's in the content, but we're actually looking about how we can measure return on content. So return on investment. This time it might be an investment of time. It may be that you put some money behind your content, and we'll talk about that later. But we're looking particularly on how can we measure that kind of content. Mostly people do it through awareness of your brand, and we can measure that on amount of inquiries, amount of comments, to a certain extent amount of shares and likes, when people start talking about you over others. That is a raising of awareness, and we need to sort of think about how you're going to track and measure that. Now, you have lots of tools available for tracking and measuring stuff like that. You can use Facebook Insights, for example, just to start to get a gist of what's going on for you. We're going to talk about BuzzSumo later as an app for actually how to use it for your research purposes. But there are other tools out there that you can measure the awareness statistically. And also there is non-statistically, which is your gut feel. Are people talking about you either in a good way or bad way? Doesn't really matter. Are things being shared? Are people commenting? Are people responding to your emails either by clicking through and purchasing something, or by responding with replies or comments? Who are you reaching? Are the people you're reaching people who are going to make a purchase? Are you making sure that you're reaching those people? I get quite a bit of interaction from people who actually do know, like, and trust what I say. Some argue, and that's fair enough. But I know from having watched them over a year, 2 years, that nothing has shifted for them. Nothing has changed. They're not making the moves to either get into entrepreneurship or change their way of thinking about business. And they're not making any reach outs to me in any kind of form of paid manner, which says to me that although they follow me, although they're interested in what I have to say, after a year, 2 years, they're in the never going to change. And I'm quite happy to talk to people who are never going to change, but obviously that's going to be in a big forum like these videos rather than personally, because that's my time, and my time is better spent with people who, are part of my crew, if you like. So we have to have the strategic plan. We have to actually think about, when we start to see those figures, can't just ignore them. We want to use those figures for evaluation and adjustment of what we're doing. Recently we looked at our avatar and we've evaluated who we attract, and now we can adjust all our copy and all our blogs and stuff like that to attract more of those people. So we sort of attract the renegades and the black sheep, not the hipsters, the traditional rock and roll, the sex, drugs and rock and roll guys. We attract those guys, really. So we can now start to adapt what we do to talk to those people more specifically. So you must evaluate and adjust. Right, that's it for today. That was slightly longer, but it was the intro one. The next ones will be shorter because we're literally just going to go through each point in the checklist, so you know what's going to happen. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye.